What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at @6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's good? Sixth element of hip hop. You are in the correct place. I am your host, Reno Noir, and this is your co-host, Stu Dog, right here to my left. What's good, Stu?
Peace. What's good?
Man, I'm just trying to get some of these images over here because I have some dope shit. Wait, why didn't that send? Oh, fuck. Oh, I'll send it again later. I'll figure it out. But anyway, DC Day, DC Power Hour is the proper terminology. It's the DC Power Hour, y'all. And we are here to talk about all things DC comics related, DC films, TV shows, animated, all of that good stuff, anything DC characters, all of that. But we are going to touch on a little bit of un-DC things, not much, but just because there's some important stuff to touch on. For one, Jeremy Renner, upbeat on recovery. He shares his new details on his condition. As you guys know, Hawkeye, mayor of Kingstown star Jeremy Renner, just shared this new news about his snowplow accident on Instagram and the shocking revelation that he broke 32 bones in the accident. Yeah, despite that heavy detail, yeah, he remains upbeat, sharing his gratitude for the support he's received since the accident and vowing to press on with his rehabilitation. But he is now home as of January 1st, as after the January 1st accident, which saw, him run over by the snowplow, broke his chest, the whole thing, leg fucked up. So he underwent 2 surgeries the next day. He's 52. I didn't know he was that much older than me. But yeah, he almost died. And yeah, man, he said morning workouts, resolutions all changed this particular New Year's, spawned from tragedy for my entire family and quickly focused into uniting actionable love. He said, yeah. He then said that he wanted to thank everyone for their messages and thoughtfulness for my family and I. Much love and appreciation to you all. He said, these 30 plus broken bones will mend, grow stronger, just like the love and bond with my family and friends deepens. Love and blessings to you all. And then there's a shot of him laying in bed, getting, having some physical therapy done. Yeah, I can't share it, but anyway, yeah, he so I just wanted to share that. It's not DC related, but it's pertinent and important. Some other non-DC things we can get out the way. This is funny. Funny, but rapper Young Thug is in court, as you know, or may not know, but his co-defendant and him just did a fucking straight up hand-to-hand in front of everybody, like in the middle of court, like in front of the judge. The bailiff looked at him. He was like, "Fool, what the? Give me that. The fuck did y'all just do? Straight up hand-to-hand." So basically, Grammy winning rapper Young Thug and racketeering co-defendant conducted the hand-to-hand drug transaction during the court hearing. It's on film. There's a video of it. I saw it. It's crazy. Real blatant. I don't know if they thought no one was looking or if courtrooms weren't video surveillanced these days. But the rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Lamar Williams, and Khalif Adams are now charged with conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, also known as RICO, and participation in criminal street gang activity, among other charges. But according to the motion seeking clarification of the record, Adams stood up from his chair, walked unattended over to Young Thug, where he was sitting at the defendant's table, and gave him a Percocet. The motion said Young Thug tried to conceal his hand under the table. Sheriff deputies took the painkiller and searched Adams, who resisted. He was taken, of course, to Grady Memorial Hospital because he swallowed whatever he had on his person, whatever contraband, in an effort to conceal it, the extent of it in the courtroom. So during the search, of him. They found Percocet, marijuana, tobacco, and other contraband shit that shouldn't be in court or prison, wrapped up in plastic and food seasonings to mask the odor of the marijuana. Yeah. So Percocet obviously is the brand name of drug that mixes oxycodone with Tylenol, acetaminophen, and so it's an opioid, basically. Oxys, Roxys, heroin, all that stuff, Percocets, Vicodins, it's all the same thing. And Keith Adams was one of Young Thug's attorneys. He said the state is purposely misrepresenting and embellishing Wednesday's events. He said Young Thug neither requested nor accepted the pill. As can be seen in the courtroom footage, Williams immediately gave it to the courtroom deputy in front of him. And I did see the footage. And what it was this. He walked up to him from behind and just came in front of him and just dropped the thing in his hand. And he takes it, but like his natural instinct is to just take it and put it away. But he takes it, and in that same motion, he realizes I'm in court in front of the judge and everybody's looking at me, and he fucking hands it to the bailiff. Like, the fuck? Probably pissed at his friend for doing that dumbass shit like that. Because there's ways to do things, guys. Come on. You could have done it way more smooth than that, B. If you really wanted to pass that thing, you could have done it way more.
I mean, why would you try to do it in court? And
that's the thing. I don't get it.
That part I don't get. There was anywhere else, all right, take a chance. But damn, bro, that's like saying I'm gonna make a drug transaction in front of a police station and keep doing it.
You know, it's like the and maybe he knew that was the only way that he was ever going to be able to have contact with Young Thug. Maybe Young Thug had put the word out like, hey, guys, I'm in here. I need some perkies. Because I'll tell you, man, these guys, they fucking with these pills and this lean and all of this stuff. You know, they take it as this recreation, but guys, it's opioids. So you're not only addicted, but you're going to experience severe withdrawal. Okay.
Yeah,
you can't just do lean for a while.
Yeah.
Word, you can't. I mean, people, they don't really understand that lean is an opioid. It's codeine.
So codeine. Yeah.
I mean, you get addicted to codeine, bro. Trust me. Withdrawals like a motherfucker. What's good? You want me to let you eat, man? I'll let you in a minute.
Oh no, I'm good. It's just a small pie, so I'm good.
You good.
You went for World of Hurt.
Yeah. Corey Adger, salute. What's good, homie? But Corey I mean.
Peace.
You know, it's basically my point is that he might have been hurting. He might have been needing something. But honestly, bro, if you are in withdrawals from your opioids, one little Percocet, that's only gonna prolong the situation. You might as well kick. You know what I'm saying? And you locked up anyway. You might as well kick. Go through the little few days of withdrawal, man, and get over it because you just withdraw. You just prolonging the inevitable. But I don't know. I just thought it was mad funny the way they did that on camera, like in the courtroom, like just stupid fuck, bro. Like there could have been many other opportunities to get it if that's what you had to do, or you could have, you know, he could have just walked up and put the thing in his mouth. I mean,
how about let's not do that? How about let's just not do that in the courtroom?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But if you had to do it,
let's try that. I don't understand how you would have to have.
That's what. Yeah, I don't really understand.
Yeah, he should have just took him in the court. If he needed that bad, he could have put it in his pocket, took it in the courtroom himself. I mean,
maybe some people are less than smart. So
why has somebody pass it to you when you could have just took it yourself, pulled it out of your pocket, popped it in your mouth, and fucking just took it? Like I don't get it. Like why has somebody pass it to you?
I guess he couldn't get one himself. Maybe he's in jail. Maybe he's in jail and he's just there for the court appearance and he's going back to jail. You know what I mean? Like he might. I don't know if he's free. He might just be. That might have been his only way to reach somebody. Who knows? But again, still not worth it, bro. Not worth it. That was dumb. Now you're sitting on a whole new charge.
Congratulations, you just played yourself.
Stupid.
And the worst part about it, you already trying to in court look like you're not guilty, you know, or at least get some sympathy. Well, you just ruined all that. You just lost all that. So
yeah,
not worth it. But anyway, On to DC. It is the DC Power Hour. I don't know. We got lots of shit to cover. I mean, there's just a lot of DC news going on right now. Peacemaker season 2, release date, speculation, cast, plot, all of that good stuff. We know in 2021, James Gunn and John Cena asked DCU fans a simple question: Do you really wanna? Do you really want to taste it? The it in question was Peacemaker, obviously the HBO Max TV spinoff Suicide Squad character of the same name, and the answer was yes, we did want to taste it, and it tasted goddamn good. It was an amazing show. Huge hit commercially and critically, and more viewers turning in each week, tuning in to watch Christopher Smith, aka Peacemaker, and his team try to save the world from an invasion of parasitic, mind-controlling butterflies. That's right, butterflies. In an unsurprising, then that Warner Brothers execs couldn't wait to greenlight a season 2. But what does the future hold for us? Psychopaths that love Peacemaker and Vigilante. We love Vigilante. What does Abadeo's decision to leak Task Force X to the world mean for the team? And Harcourt. Will John Economos with confidence justifying his beard? But if you've got questions, we have answers. Here's everything we know so far about Peacemaker 2. Guns has his handful at the moment with the MCU, with the Guardians 3, but he will reportedly be directing and writing all 7 episodes of this new season. So yeah, he's gonna be swamped. And what did he say? He said, creating Peacemaker has been one of the highlights of my life, both professionally and otherwise, with John Cena and the incredible creative team around me, as well as our partners at HBO Max. To have something we all love so much be loved by the audience in turn has been a wonderful experience. I can't wait for folks to see where the team Peacemaker goes in season 2. Yeah, we agree. We're ready. Robert Patrick also returned as Augie Smith. Because Augie died after Peacemaker put a bullet through his head. The season finale hinted Chris is still haunted by his father, even hallucinating that he was sitting with him in the episode's dying moments. But in an interview with Michael Rosenbaum for his podcast Inside of You, Patrick promised Augie would have a lot of fun as a ghost. So he won't be like coming back to life, but there'll be like Force Ghost type combos and things like that. He said, to be honest with you, I think this could be the funniest fucking stuff ever with the dad as the ghost. In my own mind, I'm trying to think of scenarios James is going to come up with, and there's a lot he could do. It's unlimited because I'm a fucking ghost, dude. Yeah, man. And we also hope that Viola Davis reprises her role as Amanda Waller as well. The first series ended with her daughter exposing Waller's Suicide Squad to the world, and so it makes sense for her to be out for revenge. Even if that means hurting her daughter, Adebayo. So unfortunately, we're unlikely to see Chuck Woody in the new season because his character Clemson Mern and the butterfly puppeting his meat suit met their end during the tense standoff with the butterfly leader. So he probably ain't coming back. But that said, there's a few dangling plot threads left over from the first season, like Peacemaker's guilt for killing his dad, Augie, despite the abuse that he put Chris and his brother through. And in the final episode, what happened? The Peacemaker hallucinates his dad's berating him and causing the already unhinged Peacemaker to act even more violently. It's possible, no, it's likely this will be something that comes up in season 2. And then there's also the fallout of Adebayo's decision to reveal what's going on at Belle Reve to the world. And with the Suicide Squad scheme now revealed, it's likely Amanda Waller will be disgraced and might, Waller come for the team that ruined her good name, probably. It's possible the fact she was exposed by her own daughter may curtail her need for revenge, but you never can tell with Waller, bro. She's crazy. Gunn said, I'm still playing with a lot of different things. He said the most important thing for me in the first season was who Peacemaker was and where he was going, what were his personal journeys. So I know where Peacemaker starts and where he ends, but I'm playing with other ideas around that and how that's going to play out. He said, I think we're going to see more connections and some other stuff as we move forward with Peacemaker and other shows at HBO Max. So those cameos will keep coming. And I don't know if the Justice League is going to show up in every season of Peacemaker. That might be a one-time thing. We'll see. So who knows? But if we pick anyone to turn up in season 2 from the wider DCU, it would be Peacemaker's old buddy Bloodsport. That would be a dope, because we're sure that those two could do with a good chat. And then again, if we're not getting new, a new Superman movie or Man of Steel 2, whatever, anytime soon, maybe the big blue Boy Scout could appear in Peacemaker. This is another possibility. We don't know, because Gunn is saying that he's doing some stuff with Cavill. He is doing stuff with Cavill now again. So that's a whole new thing.
That's so messy, because Peacemaker has referenced and shown stuff from the Snyderverse. So like for that to even be like a hint, it's just too messy. Way too messy. The fact that the show is still staying is messy enough, but like, dang.
Yeah.
But Peacemaker?
Yeah.
I like the Peacemaker. Peacemaker was good.
Oh no, that's here or there. I don't like whether you like it or not. It's just the fact that it's staying because it has referenced things from the Snyderverse, and you want to do a reboot, but not really. He wants to keep all his stuff, and it just makes things way messier because they like to cherry pick. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, and Stu's watching the football game right now. He's not paying attention. He's watching
full attention.
It's the
full attention. I just need to see the score every now and then. That's all. That's all. I just need to see the score. That's it. Now, Peacemaker was good. We know. Listen, when you go back and you look at everything that was said, he never said that he didn't want to use Cavill and he couldn't. He just said that moving forward with the project of the new DC expanded universe of the DCU, that's a whole different project. There was never any mention of not using him. I always thought that he was going to use him. It was just sooner or later or in another project, but not what he has planned for the DCU. I mean, for what he had, and like he said, they're not even doing. It's to the point now where he said they're not even going to cast until the script is 90% done.
Mm-hmm.
So he said they're not even casting Superman until until the script is like 90%. So he was like, so that kicks that all off the table. But he did say that they had other news about the DCU that people would be excited to hear. I hope so, and I hope that's what he. But apparently, according to him and his Twitter feed, they're writing a script. I don't know how long it's going to take to write it. Could be a couple months, could be a month, could be a couple weeks. I don't know. But when they get done, they're going to cast. And then he said, moving forward from there, that's when they're going to, maybe they make cast decisions for other people, for other roles. But as far as Superman is concerned.
Ooh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh,
yeah, as far as Superman is concerned, we're not getting nothing until that script is done or mostly done.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and it's crazy shit. Like Gunn wants to work with the Guardians cast at DC now. They got Chris Pratt up here with talking about a role and stuff. But during a recent interview he did with Empire, he said, talking about Guardians, he stated that he will work with the Guardians Galaxy cast again, and quipped that it might even be at his new job at DC. He said, like, the cast are like my family. I cannot tell you how close I am to Chris Pratt and Palm and Dave Bautista and Zoe and Karen, but I also know I will work again with all those people individually again, probably at my other job. And Gunn and the Guardians cast members have worked together for a decade, man, across multiple projects. So his sentiments are understandable. But things might be easier said than done, since Marvel and DC are rival companies. I'm sure there's contracts and things like that, but there's no evidence that either company forbids working with each other. And there's possibly a highly discouraged given the high visibility, that comes with playing a superhero character. But I still think that they're going to try and do some crossover eventually. So I don't think it's out of the cards. But for instance, one of the reasons Robert Pattinson was considered for his role as Batman in the Reeves reboot was the fact that he never worked with Marvel and thus, couldn't be associated with any of their characters. But before Gunn was appointed CEO, he directed Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. But now he's the CEO there, and so that'll involve a lot of decision making and power that he can do things. And he sacked Cavill, who erstwhile played Superman, intending to reboot the series and go in a different direction. He's since said that he is going to do something with Cavill and Superman, very vaguely, but he is planning to do something with Cavill and Superman, whatever that is. Whether it's a cameo or just a Cavill Superman movie, or a Cavill plays another character, or whatever it is. But he, alongside his co-CEO, also canceled the planned third installment of Wonder Woman due to their dissatisfaction with the script. And at the moment, Gunn is working on a long-term plan for the DC universe that will emulate Marvel's approach, in terms of telling a cohesive story. Chris Pratt will reprise, his role as Star-Lord, and Zoe will play Gamora and all that. Everybody's gonna play their old stuff in Guardians. But Dave Bautista has confirmed, that he's definitely done with Drax and Guardians. This is definitely his last film. And and I know this is DC Power Hour, and I was gonna wait till Monday, but I kind of have cracked the code, or somebody else cracked the code on who is exactly going to die in Guardians, because they actually tell us. It's pretty crazy. I was blown away. This is a very solid theory.
Spoiler warning for those who don't want to know.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait till Monday on it anyway, because it's not DC and it's a whole thing. But yeah, spoiler warning. So, but yeah, Gunn is there's a lot of moving parts, you know what I'm saying? But
I think we should embrace it, man. I mean, remember when we found out Ben Affleck was gonna be Batman?
I'm not mad.
Everybody had something to say. Everybody was, but he turned out to be a pretty good Batman. So I'm just taking it like this. Okay, we're gonna see what he do, and if it's good, we'll clap our hands, we'll stand up and cheer. And if it's bad, we'll say we told you so. But
basically,
the only thing we can do is just sit back and see what he has. James Gunn has not disappointed yet. So,
oh shit,
I
didn't even notice. My bad, not to cut you off. I didn't notice Al Mega was in here, man.
Al Mega, Al Mega in the house. What's up?
Word up, Wallet of Ballers. Salute. Wait, were you finished?
Yeah, like I said, James Gunn hasn't disappointed yet.
No, he hasn't. I'm not worried about it at all. It sucks that Cavill is out, because I wanted to see more Man of Steel, but I'm not worried about what Gunn's gonna do. I'm sure I'll like it.
I mean, just for the sake of doing it, to be honest with you, they just got to do it, man. You have to do a Man of Steel 2 movie. You just have to. Just for the simple fact that that's what everybody wants. Give everybody what they want. Like, that's what we want. We want.
Warpath knows.
Yeah, we want a Man of Steel. We got crickets on our last Man of Steel movie. We didn't get anything. We should have been got one, and we didn't get anything. Just make a Man of Steel movie. Just do it. You don't have nothing to lose. Nothing right now.
Nope.
And
the Flash.
Matter of fact, if you Hollywood, make James Gunn direct it. Just say, look, we got to do this.
That's it.
Do you really want James Gunn to touch Man of Steel 2?
I mean,
if they were to do
who made Man of Steel 1?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Who made Man of Steel 1? Who made Man of Steel 1?
Wasn't that Snyder?
That was Snyder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a completely different tone. That's like a
Yeah, I don't.
huge shift.
It was
Yeah,
Zack Snyder
I'm not. That's
directing
why I
Man of
said I'm
Steel.
not really mad at that because I don't really care about Gunn doing Man of Steel. It's like now that we know Gunn's taking over and Man of Steel is not a thing, fine. Like I'm not. I don't know, bro. It's like I could just, and I know a lot of people are going to do this. They're going to be so upset about Cavill being out that they're not going to give whatever he does a chance and really have an open mind and really look at it unbiasedly. They're just going to hate it and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of thing, and I'm the same way with the Flash. I mean, I know Ezra Miller's a tool, and I'm not really, I have no faith in him as an actor, but Flashpoint has got a lot of cool shit around it, and I'm kind of sad that it ends up the way it does, but maybe we'll get something cool out of it. For one thing, the merchandising gave us a hint that we are getting the Dark Flash as the bad guy. So the Dark Flash, because the new merchandise came out, and we got the Dark Flash, and after being stuck in development since 2014, this movie is officially coming out in theaters this summer. And Ezra Miller, who was cast as Barry Allen nearly a decade ago, has appeared in the DC universe in several different films. But this is their first solo film that will focus on Barry trying to go back in time to change the past and be a loose Flashpoint adaptation. If it was a strict Flashpoint adaptation, I'd be all behind it. But I'm kind of worried at what they're gonna do to it, because I love Flashpoint. It's a great story, but by doing so, Barry will accidentally tap into the multiverse, which will bring in Michael Keaton's Batman and all kinds of fun stuff. But while a lot is known about the Flash movie, there's been little to no clues about who the primary villain is in the story. And as the movie's getting closer to release, details are emerging, and we're getting and merchandise is leaking and things like that. And this is the first time that Dark Flash has been definitively spotted through any of the Flash movies' marketing. In the comics, the Dark Flash or Black Flash has been used in different ways. And the most popular version of Black Flash has been similar to Death for other speeds for the whole speedster mythos. He's like Death when their time is up. And it's unknown at this point if this is the version of Dark Flash, that we're gonna get, or if it's gonna be more like, an anti-Flash thing. Or in the Flash TV show, you had Hunter Zolman, aka Zoom, became the Arrowverse version of Black Flash at the end of season 2. And then there is one version of Dark Flash in the DC lore that's an alternative take on Wally West, and better known as Walter. And Dark Flash came from an alternate timeline and basically took a gruesome turn after Linda Park died at the hands of Cobra. And then Dark Flash could be a Barry from an alternate timeline in a parallel universe, or the main DCU coming for the other Flashes. Even though Dark Flash is specifically pulled from Wally's mythology, he currently doesn't exist in the main DCU, obviously. And so time will tell, how this Flash movie will tackle the Dark Flash character. But hell of a cool. You know what? I got it, guys. Check this out. Woo-hoo! Got the Dark Flash. This is a different Dark Flash, but this is one example.
Very nice.
You got. But what a cool looking dude, and he's coming kind of like a zombie. He's got the zombie face and all of that.
Zombie look going on.
Yeah. But yeah, man, Dark Flash is I think a cool idea, a cool, villain for this movie.
They call him they got another name for him, Flashback. They call him Flashback. It can be Black Flash,
Flashback.
Yeah, Black Flash, yeah.
And there's different.
But he's a speedster. He's a speedster, just like the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a speedster, just like them.
Yeah.
But if he comes for you as a speedster, you're done.
That's death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like their version of Death. But speaking of Flash, there's some really cool Flash shit going on in the comics. It's called the 1 Minute War, and basically, it's what it sounds like. It's basically the Flash and the speedsters in this whole war that takes place in 1 minute, 1 minute of our time, right? But of course, in the comics, it's going to go on like whatever, but technically, it's 1 minute of time. Very cool idea. Um, hot off the universe shaking events of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. You've got the Flash family is in this epic battle, and it's Flash number 790, which starts it. It starts the launch of the highly anticipated 1 Minute War, which is an event that will ensnare probably every speedster in the DC universe. You've got Jeremy Adams writing it. Roger Cruz is penciling it. Matt Benning inking it, and and Wellington Diaz too. Colorist Luis Guerrero and letterist Rob Lee kick off the story. And basically, ironically, for a book about characters who move at super speed, this issue is a slow burn as readers catch up with every major speedster before the first shots are fired. Basically, after months of being hinted at, the mysterious alien armada, the Fraction, has arrived on Earth. And as the Flash family enjoys a few moments of peace following another crisis event, the speedsters are shocked to discover that the world around them it slows to a complete stop, right? So the Fraction are a Speed Force powered alien conqueror, and basically as their devastation begins, the only the speedsters of the DC universe can even perceive their attack, right? Because it's so fast, no one would even know it's happening. But the idea is, can the speedsters stop an entire armada? Basically without help from anyone else, because nobody else can move at that speed, right? So the assault on Earth basically begins, and only the speedsters can do anything about it. The author, the writer on this, carefully designs the issue to like build tension, right? And it's with each set of characters realizing the looming threat at different times. So you're seeing like their different lives happening at different, and then like they all get the message, right? And then sort of, but as the reader, you're forced to wait for the revelation as the book jumps to the next scene and another group of characters. And as each, sort of happy moment in their life is interrupted, the dread starts to build about what danger is falling from the sky, basically. And Wally West and his wife Linda Park, they're like chilling at a barbecue with friends, just just kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Celebrating her new pregnancy. Barry Allen and Iris are just sitting talking about their future. You got Kid Flash and Impulse bickering over their status as sidekicks, the young guys. And basically each of the characters and their lives, concerns and anxieties are presented here naturally and with a sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just really well done. Roger Cruz's pencils give it's hard to draw a picture of something moving fast, if that makes sense, right? It's just a drawing. It's just a picture. How do I make it look like it's moving fast? Put lines behind it. You can't just do that every time. So you get creative in the way that you can draw these, speed on a page. And the way he does it is dope. I mean, he just, his characters are always sort of in motion. And then you've got, stuff moving around, or it's like they're moving and then you see stuff not moving. It's really dope how he does it. It's hard to kind of describe, but he makes their movements reflect their personalities as well. So you've got, the kids doing one thing, and then, the art period. I mean, the inker, the colorist, you know what I'm saying, basically make this whole issue visually consistent. They do a great job, and their heavy lines, you know what I'm saying, like good thick shadows and then splashes of color that just really kind of pop off the page, purples and pinks and blues. And I love that with like the black and white backgrounds and other stuff, and basically one of the challenges in illustrating the Flash is how to convey someone moving at high speed in a static medium. And that's an even bigger task with the fact that this whole, event is going to span several comics over however many months, but it all has to take place in 1 minute. You see what I'm saying? So they got to get mad creative. And I'm excited to see how this whole thing folds out. But 790 was the first one that started the joint. 791. Well, the 790 is the opening chapter to the 1 minute war. And it's a dope start, to what I think is going to be a great story. The script gives these various characters very distinctive personalities, voices, sets up their own, their status quo for the newcomers, even, as he threatens to tear it all apart, by the end of the issue. And then the art is crazy, very well suited for, dynamic action. They got the right guys for this one. And it's a great jumping on point for new readers too. Like if you're not, you haven't been reading the Flash or whatever, but you're interested, you want to get into the Flash, this is a great point to hop on. 790, because it's the start of a new event. So we call this a jumping on point. So if you want to get into Flash, this is a new way. This is a good way to do it. And there's an interview too. Check this out. So I found this interview with the writer of this. Let me see what he says about it. So they asked him, Jeremy, an epic war between speedsters lasting just 60 seconds for everyone else is an incredibly fun premise. What's the origin story behind developing the 1 minute war? And he said, for speedsters, time generally moves differently. As we've seen in countless movies, when a speedster moves, everything around them slows down. Now you add these conquerors, the Fraction, an alien empire that uses the speed force like we use solar or nuclear power, and they move fast as our speedsters. So our guys' advantage is kind of nullified. And because they're moving so fast, the idea that this war happens in 1 minute of current continuity just struck me as cool. And I agree. And what he said, the DC universe has so many great antagonists. Aside from having super speed, what does this alien armada bring to the table? And he said that's their big advantage. They also have learned to utilize the speed force mechanically. So they have ships, vehicles, etc., moving at super fast speeds, so they can land and take over without any resistance. And because they're moving so fast, other superheroes can't help. And this is the event solely relies on the speedsters of the Earth. And then they said every artist brings their own approach to super speed. What was it like collaborating with Roger Cruz on this giant battle between speedsters? And he said, so far, Roger and I are talking through the series and the insanity of it all. I'm a big fan of his work and really excited to see his take on the insanity that's about to come down the pipe. Oh, this is a dope picture right here. Oh, shit. Of course, it's not a JPEG, so I have to take a screenshot, but y'all got to see this. I just found this dope Flash picture. Come on, y'all ain't gonna let me do it. Cool.
Ooh.
There's dope.
It is dope.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's I like the dark, the black background. I really love.
It can't look like that in a movie.
Yeah, right. So next question, he said, why is this the perfect issue for new readers to jump into the Flash? And for the fans that have been following along, what can you tease about the next adventure for the Fast and their lives to ensure that they stay with the series? And he said, so it's a good chance for readers to get acclimated to DC's main speedsters in an extreme situation. You get to understand their personalities, where the Flash is at emotionally, and hints at bigger futures for them all. As for what comes after this, well, there'll be some big changes for several characters going forward. If you've been following the Flash thus far, you already know how zany the book is. It will continue along its usual paths of twists and turns, silly humor, with a helping of heart. And then he says, by the time Flash 790 releases, you will have written more than 20 issues of the series. That's quite a feat nowadays. How does that feel? Have you changed your approach to the Flash's world at all? He said, well, no way. Actually, this has been a really wonderful experience. I feel blessed that DC has let me be. I don't care. But yeah, this does seem like a really cool story, man. This 1 Minute War. So yeah, I wanted to tell you all about it. That's that. All right, come over here.
Yeah, well, I wonder who's going to be in it because we don't have there's not a lot of speedsters in the DC universe.
Yeah, well, I guess they got what? They got Wally, they got the 2 kids, and they got
his whole family, just
Barry.
about.
Yeah.
And then they have
who's the black guy that wears blue? There was a black speedster, and he wore all blue.
That's I think I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I don't know who's all gonna be in it. But they mentioned just Barry Allen and the 2 kid Flashes and Wally. Oh shit. Okay, so the 15 fastest speedsters ranked. Okay, let's see, and I bet you they're not all speedsters. Yep, nope. Superman is not a speedster. Okay, the Rival is a speedster, but he's not going to be in that. The Atom, I guess you could say. Zoom is dope. Johnny Quick, that's another one. Evil speedster.
Johnny Quick is.
Jesse
Shazam is not a speedster, but he's just as fast as a speedster.
Yeah.
That's where you gotta, you know what I mean? Like that's where you can.
That's what I'm saying. They put Superman on here, but I get that he could go that fast, but he's not a speedster. A speedster is a speedster.
Superman can run as fast as one of them, but not faster than one of them. He's not faster than a speedster. He can keep up with him for a little bit, and he would tire out before they. Yeah. He would tire out before they would. He can, do some things, but he's not definitely top speed. He can't be the speedster.
Ooh, no.
He can't be
no.
Yeah.
No.
But he is fast. He can move as fast as he.
Oh yeah.
Black
Racer,
or he can
another one.
Black Racer. You got Inertia.
Inertia's
another one.
He's a
You got Max Mercury. Now that's actually
Jay Garrick.
That's Max. I want to give out Max Mercury.
Mm-hmm. Savitar, Wally West, Reverse Flash, Kid Flash, all of them. But
Lady Flash, don't forget about Lady Flash.
Jesse. And then, but I didn't know they were making a Gladiator 2. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So Gladiator is my favorite movie of all time. I got if you ask me my favorite movie of all time, depending on my mood, I'm either gonna say Goodfellas or Gladiator. That's it. Those are my favorite movies ever made. So it's crazy that they're making a Gladiator 2, only how? Because like he died. So I don't even want to see like a weird thing back to life or like someone else. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it. But there's some, it's been hyped, and apparently people have been talking about it. We're just so ingrained in the comic movie and comic news world that I just totally missed this. But apparently it's been being talked about for a minute here, and it could be just the thing to sort of rejuvenate the historical movie, that kind of era that we kind of lost. The original Gladiator, with its story about Maximus, a Roman soldier, sentenced to become a gladiator, eventually rises up to topple the emperor, and remains an indelible part of the late 20th century cinema. it continues to appeal to a lot of people, in part because Ridley Scott's undeniably skilled direction in this movie was just impeccable. The new camera tricks that they used for that movie with the dirt flying around, and it was like really fucking visually stunning. And then of course you've got the powerful charisma of Russell Crowe, who brings it to life. But the details are still sparse about what story Gladiator 2 would tell, particular since the lead character was dead. Gladiator, the first movie, killed off Maximus at the end, but given the vast canvas that antiquity represents, because I study this shit a lot, but there's certainly a number of powerful stories that could be told in the life of the Colosseum, for one thing. But Ridley Scott has recently shown that he still has the creative imagination that brought Gladiator to life. He just did the Last Duel, was like a medieval epic, was a subversive take on the conventions of the historical epic, basically calling into question the sort of macho heroism that was such a key part of Gladiator's appeal. But that movie inspired a lot of shit. 300 came out, it seemed like something out of time. Gladiator just was like crazy, and it was a historical epic, you know what I'm saying, that had gone out of fashion decades earlier. So it basically came as a surprise to most of us that they were even doing that movie when it came out. But then, like I said, it inspired a whole bunch of shit after that, right? Like Troy. Troy came out, 300, and it was just like all these movies coming back to back with all this cool mythology.
Troy was
stuff.
good.
Great.
Was good. So.
Yeah. But not all of these, quite obtained the level of popularity that Gladiator did, and definitely not the same sort of reverence and respect. Some like even 300 is kind of laughed at now, but which was visually amazing at the time until you realize, wait a minute, why are all these Spartans like half naked wearing Speedos? And like, what's going on here? Like, this isn't how it was. It's like stupid. But graphically it looked cool. But and not to get too off of DC Comics here, but just Gladiator 2 is like, I just found out about this today, so I just had to talk about it. But and they're talking about like maybe early as 2024. So I guess the script's already written and all that shit.
I don't know where you can. I don't know where you can go with it.
Well, that's the question.
Because Marcus Aurelius dies, and then I guess what was his son that took over, but he killed Marcus Aurelius, and then Russell Crowe's character, right?
They
so you like
him and the Emperor killed each other at the end. So there's nobody from that movie except
the Lucius. Little boy and the woman. Lucius. Yeah, the woman. Maybe Lucius might want to be a gladiator. He might maybe it might tell the story of Lucius, how he just was so devastated he became a gladiator and just, I don't know, masked up as a gladiator and went and fought everybody till he could deal with the pain of
it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man.
Apparently, they're in the midst of casting Paul Mescal. I don't know what else Paul Mescal is from. Sada, can you look up Paul Mescal? Mescal. And they're in the process of casting him to play the main character. I don't think it's going to be Maximus, though. I think it could be a young Maximus. This movie could be about Maximus's life as
Paul Mescal.
General Maximus.
He's an Irish actor.
Yeah, I'm looking at his
He's an Irish actor. I couldn't
tell
you
what
he played in, but I know he's an Irish actor.
Yeah.
What did it say he played in?
Looks like Normal People, After Sun, The Lost Daughter, God's Creatures, Carmen, The Deceived, Strangers, The End of Getting Lost, and then some other stuff. That's
I don't think I've heard of any of that.
No. He's only 26, so
pretty young. He's young. So I'm thinking that if he is gonna play an older Lucius, which I think is what they're talking about him doing, But yeah, he's currently in negotiations to take the lead role in Gladiator 2, which is to be, helmed by Ridley Scott. And yeah, he'll be playing a grown-up Lucius, the son of Connie Nielsen's Lucilla, who was originally played by Weird Al Yankovic's stories Spencer Treat Clark. But other actors
Didn't
who
they
were
have
contenders for the role.
Didn't they have a TV show? Wasn't there a TV series? Didn't they have like a TV series? Isn't that the one where the dude? No, that might not. The one where the guy died.
What?
The original with the original actor? Gladiator. Didn't Gladiator have a TV series?
Really? Did they? Gladiator TV show. Okay, I'm not.
No, it wasn't a Gladiator TV show, but there was a TV show called Rome, but it was completely unrelated.
Yeah, Rome is what I was thinking about. That's the one where the guy died, right? The original actor, he passed away, and then they had to recast, which Black Panther did, but they didn't do. They didn't want to recast.
Yeah, that I don't know. But yeah, apparently this guy Paul Mescal is already a hot commodity in Hollywood. The Irish actor is only at the very beginning of his career, but I guess he started out. Oh, Where Crawdads Sing. Oh no, okay. After bursting onto the scene opposite Where Crawdads Sing, star Daisy Edgar Jones in the 2020 Beastie series Normal People. Yeah, that's what you said about Normal People. Which I don't know what that is. It's a BBC series. So if you're watching right now from across the pond, I apologize. I don't know that show, but you probably do. But yeah, starring in a big legacy blockbuster like Gladiator will make this kid's career, for sure. If it's a good movie. But yeah, this will probably be his vehicle to his stardom, I guess. They must have it, out for him to be a star to give him that kind of role. But so far, like I said, most of the plot details for Gladiator 2 are being kept very tightly under wraps, as the film, still is very early in production, of course, but the casting of Lucius does imply that the film is taking place about a decade after the events of the original film, right? Just slightly shorter than actual time has elapsed since the movie released 23 years ago now. But Ridley Scott sort of teased that the film is going in a logical direction from the end of the original film, but it will likely be fictionalized because the real life figure that inspired Lucius, that kid died at a young age. Because a lot of people don't know, Gladiator is all sort of based on a real story. And a lot of the characters, they actually either change their names, combine them into one character, which they do a lot and stuff like that. But, all of them, Maximus was a real dude. You can go to Rome and see Maximus's fucking mansion, like his fucking house.
Yeah, Maximus Aurelius.
Yeah.
I read his memoirs. I read his memoirs and his philosophies.
Yep.
They're actually very interesting. He's very philosophical, man.
Yeah. I mean, everybody was back then. Philosophy was the new thing back then. Philosophy was pretty new. I guess it came out in ancient Greece, but
well, it was new for the Greeks. Once they learned how to do it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Once they traveled around the world and met other philosophers, they started philosophizing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, Marcus Aurelius obviously is a real emperor and Commodus and all of that shit. But they I think Commodus was based on Caligula.
Could be.
Because he's a lot like Caligula. But there was a real Commodus who was really Marcus Aurelius' son, but I think the character traits that they gave him were much more interesting. Were more Caligula-esque. If you read about that shit like I do. But Yeah, man. Enough about Gladiator because this is still DC Day or DC Power Hour. And we always talk about Bruce Timm. Well, we talk about DC animation and stuff like that. And one of the best Batman animated movies is Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and it was based on the animated series. The producer, Bruce Timm, in an interview just explained why the animated film makes him cringe. I was like, "What? Mask of the Phantasm?"
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "That was a dope film.
It was
Like,
good.
what happened?"
It was
yeah,
dope.
he did an interview with Empire, and they asked him, some questions, and basically explained how Mask of the Phantasm began as a small screen special. It was going to be, Batman the Animated Series, like a TV movie, TV special that sort of blew up into some, but it was supposed to, show Bruce Wayne's transformation into the Dark Knight. And the project was in pre-production when Warner Brothers executives requested a theatrical release, and so which put Tim and his team into a tight spot. Eric Radomski and I, he says, Bruce Timm said, Eric Radomski and I were in Japan meeting with one of the animation studios that worked on the movie, and we got the word that DC Studio officially wanted to make it a theatrical release while we were literally handing out the storyboards to the animators. It had all been formatted for the old school TV ratio, which was square. If you remember, TVs were never panoramic. Sada, before your time, they were square. And so they, but so that whole
was
ratio,
around for this. She was a little girl when the square ones came out.
yeah, she might. Yeah,
we
I remember
keep
those.
it a buck. We only keep it a buck. Everybody's only really been buying flat screens in the last, I'll say 6-7 years, man. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I mean,
yeah,
mainstream 2015 on up.
Yeah,
maybe 10 years, but it's that ratio basically. So they had to reformat everything, so they couldn't. So basically, with only 8 months to make the Mask of the Phantasm and a budget of $6 million, which was much lower than the typical Disney animated movie for that time, the result was not satisfying for Tim. And he said, when I see it, I just cringe. He said, it's like 90% there. I just wish I had that last 10%. We don't notice, Bruce. We love it. Straight up. That's one of the best joints out there. Yeah, but working alongside Alan Burnett, Tim and the Batman the Animated Series team, they tossed around different ideas around for the Dark Knight's first animated film, and after passing on an Arkham Asylum set premise that was reworked into the animated series episode Trial, the team settled on giving Bruce Wayne a love story never done on the show. Inspired by the 1987 miniseries Batman Year 2 by Mike Barr. Mask of the Phantasm had Batman, the GOAT, Kevin Conroy, take on a murderous vigilante targeting Gotham City crime boss, while Bruce Wayne reunites with a former love, Andrea Beaumont. And it came out Christmas Day, 1993. Mask of the Phantasm flopped. I mean, just fucking flopped at the box office. Only made more than about $5 million domestically. But in later years, the reviews from critics and Batman fans alike praise it for its adult tone and a deep retelling of the origin story. And a lot of people have called it the best screen adaptation of Caped Crusader. Which
it was ahead of its time. It was
great.
It was literally ahead of its time because, like,
it was.
Back then, it was kind of odd to make an adult themed cartoon film and release it in the theaters besides Transformers. But Transformers, we were mostly teenagers when that came out, and they kind of cashed in on that teenagers and kids would go see it. But when Batman came out, I was like, it was just different, man. And then they released it on Christmas Day, which a lot of people don't go to movies on Christmas Day. But I guess they figured the kids would be out of school. But what they failed to realize is the one thing Nintendo fails to realize all the time is that the people that watch this cartoon mostly that watched Batman animated series, they were young adults. There wasn't a lot of little like 5 and 9 year olds watching Batman the animated series. It would have been over their heads. It
Yeah,
was too adult for them.
yeah.
So yeah, so and
So
then
a
that was
lot of
around the height
parents,
of the bootleg. It was around the height
yeah,
of the bootleg time too,
yeah.
when you could
And a
just
lot of
go get
parents
that
would
joint
bring
on
their
bootleg.
kids, would bring little kids to see it, thinking that it was a kids' cartoon movie, and then obviously it wasn't, and the whole thing just confused people, and it just flopped. It's not like today where you've got the
Nah, that
internet
wasn't
and
no.
everybody understands what the movie fully is before it comes out and stuff like that. Back then, you kind of, oh, that movie looks good, go see it. What is it going to be? We don't know.
Right. I think it's cringe for Bruce Timm because it's a love story and it doesn't involve Batgirl. That's why it's cringe for him. He wanted Batgirl where Andrea Beaumont is, or Barbara Gordon, because he's loves putting them together.
Yeah. This is true. This is true. This is true. I mentioned the Dark Crisis earlier. So I saw this. The Dark Crisis event, right, has included some of the most dramatic and iconic moments in DC history, and it's been huge. And with the most recent Crisis event, Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, having just wrapped up, the DC universe is now changed again. And basically, with Pariah's attempt to reshape the multiverse in his image was foiled, there was many different things to take away from the end of the event, and from the deaths, new powers, changes to the DC universe as a whole. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths has a lot of shocking reveals. Here's 10 of them. The Justice Society is still incredibly important. When the Justice League was believed to be gone, it created a vacuum in the metahuman community. And when John Kent's attempt to rebuild the Justice League fell short, and Black Adam's attempt to sort of whip them into shape made things a lot worse, it was the Justice Society that stepped in to, instill hope to a new generation of heroes. And the Justice Society's guidance and experience proved to be invaluable to the hero's victory in Dark Crisis. Despite their lack of activity in the recent DC continuities, fans basically got to see just how valuable and still relevant the Justice Society is, in this crisis. And basically, Nightwing. So Dick Grayson was one of DC's most iconic characters, and the Boy Wonder has been a symbol for as long as Batman has, but represents completely different things to his father. Because Batman has always represented vengeance, and Nightwing has always sort of been a source of optimism, and very Boy Scouty. But the optimism was called into serious question over the course of the Dark Crisis event. But of course, Nightwing, of course, answered in force. And with so many people wondering who could even begin to fill the shoes of the Justice League, the first person anyone could think to lead the new generation of heroes was obviously going to be him. And then you had John Kent, since returning from, his adventures with his grandfather as a young man. There's no doubt that John Kent has had a crazy story over the past few years, sharing the mantle of Superman with his father. John has shown the DC universe, what he can offer, and that he truly is, the best of both of his parents. Now, Dark Crisis did show that though he may very much have earned the title of Superman, Jonathan Kent still has a lot to learn about being a leader, being a man of steel, man of tomorrow, and his attempts to hold the metahuman community together have been optimistic and with good intentions, but he quickly learned that he alone was not able to inspire hope by himself. Just didn't have it. And then the Justice League will be going in a different direction now. So basically, at the end of the event, the multiverse had been saved, and the recovery from the final battle was beginning. So Batman revealed a huge piece of news to Nightwing. Basically, the Justice League was going to be taking a temporary hiatus, and when they returned, they would be doing things differently. And it's still yet to be seen exactly what that means specifically for the future of the Justice League, and will be an interesting, to find out, to take note of how these changes basically change the status quo in DC's upcoming Dawn of DC era. So this will all lead into that. However, the Justice League is looking to change some things up. We don't know exactly what, but perhaps this means that they may open their ranks to new members. So we'll see. But the Great Darkness,
it'll be for a little. It'll be for a little bit, but DC's going to do what they always do.
Nothing ever changes forever in comics.
If it doesn't do as well as they wanted to, they'll write another story. So me personally, I love DC. I just don't see why they do stuff like that. I know for a long time
they are the king of reboots and rebirths.
Right. And they just keep trying to push Jonathan Kent to the forefront of the DC universe, and it's not going to work, because once you started hitting at him being gay and having loving somebody secretly and all this, you lost the people's attention with the character, and nobody's looking at him saying, nobody's looking at him saying ever again. They're never going to look at him saying, and they should have
polarized his whole fandom. I mean, if you were a fan of John Kent before, now half of you aren't. That was a dumb move on DC's part. If you want to have a character and make them gay, fine, but don't make that your flagship. Don't try to make that your flagship leading character, because the world ain't ready for that. It's not gonna happen.
No, and it's never been your flagship leading character. You did. Matter of fact, you didn't start your whole franchise off with that, and that's what you should have did. But it's nothing against. It's nothing against anybody being gay, anything like that. It's just that it's just not for everybody. Like, if you took the population of the world, there are more heterosexual people than there are gay people. I mean, period, point blank. So if you want to cater to your audience, you got to cater to that audience. DC can do something every Pride Month. Tear it up. Do what you got to do. Reverse some roles. Make some Elseworlds. Do what you got to do, man. Show your love and your support. Show your love and support.
Your main Superman character gay. That's
but
not
don't
ever
right. But to write it in
sadly or whatever it is. I mean, that's not to say nothing about any. It's just America. It's just whether it's good or bad. That's just what it is. We're not definitely advocating.
You got to remember too. You got to sell Jonathan. You got to sell Jonathan Kent to the rest of the world as well, not just America. And
because it's supposed to be a global icon right behind Superman. At least I'm sure that's what they want.
Well, if they wanted him to take Superman's place, I mean, yeah. If you want him to take Superman's place as the head of DC or the main character of DC,
that'll never happen.
Making him gay was how you ruined that. That was how you ruined it.
It's like Damian. Look at Damian. You can't even make Damian. Damian can't even grow up to be Batman.
Like, he's so unlikable.
That's what. Side of note. Everybody hates. But
nobody likes the kids. Nobody likes the kids.
Yeah, nobody likes the kids. They hate Damian. They don't like Jonathan Kent. They just don't. And they want to kill Damian. Everybody talks about killing Damian. I'll just kill Damian off. This is all like this whole website is dedicated to killing Damian Wayne, bro. They really don't like him.
Yeah,
they hate his attitude.
The Super Sons last night because it finally was on HBO Max. And I was like, I really don't like them. Why did they pick them to lead this movie? I was like, Damian's like, he was a huge dick, and it was just like there was no growth. And then John was just he was a little too aloof for me. It was just like I don't know, they're just not leading men. They're just not, and not right now. I don't know.
That's what he said. We know, like, and they don't get along.
Yeah, they never get along.
They don't get along. Yeah, they never get along. It's just I don't know, man. I don't know who wrote that, but they're gonna need to reboot that or something now, or rewrite it.
Do another reboot.
Do something with it, because it's never gonna work.
Yeah. But for most of the for much of the Dark Crisis event, it was believed that the great darkness had corrupted Pariah and that it was controlling him into waging war on the multiverse. And unsure of that theory, the Justice League Dark decided to investigate the matter themselves, sending a task force to the Starheart in order to learn more. And they investigated the Great Darkness and realized that it was neither inherently good nor bad. In reality, it was Pariah's own determination, his own malice, his own personality that corrupted the darkness, and not the other way around. And then every crisis event, you know, has come with, huge loss and death, raising the stakes of the events and putting fans through agony. But a lot of, many might have feared for Beast Boy after Garfield's near fatal injury at the hands of Deathstroke. But it was not Beast Boy who died. Green Arrow appeared to be the only one in the Justice League who didn't manage to make it back to Earth in time for the final battle. And the last few panels of the event showed Black Canary and Roy Harper searching for him, although they may find him soon enough, with the Emerald Archer set to star in his own series in 2023, headed by Joshua Williamson and Sean Isaacski. But Amanda Waller is also in the epilogue. So in the epilogue of Dark Crisis, set the next potential threat to the Justice League and all metahumans in motion. And basically, in a private meeting with the Council of the Light, it was revealed that Amanda Waller, the head of Task Force X, was given full authority to eliminate any metahumans that she saw as a threat. And what she plans to do in order to deal with the metahumans is still yet to be seen. But in the impending era of DC Comics, it seems that Waller, along with her Suicide Squad and the mysterious Council of Light, may prove to be built up as major villains down the road here. And basically, and then originally powered by the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, Cameo Hoshi was given her powers by the Monitor himself, and making her connect, to the opposite of the Great Darkness, the light of the source. And so this means that Hoshi is connected to the energy of creation in all things, and is connected to the multiverse itself. And so with this huge new upgrade, Dr. Light was able to remove the darkness from Pariah's dark army, freeing everyone from his control. And now with her new powers, Dr. Light is able to protect the whole multiverse from new threats, making her now one of the most powerful metahumans in DC. And then Dark Crisis was meant to place many of DC's legacy heroes to the front and center, showing their value to the DC universe and also their ability to lead and inspire a new generation of heroes. And even with the Justice League out of the picture, a standout new character from Dark Crisis was the introduction of Red Canary. One of the most exciting moments of the event was the introduction of the Red Canary. It was a heroine inspired by Dinah Lance, the Justice League's Black Canary. And how Red Canary is connected to Black Canary, if at all, is still yet to be seen. So far, it's just the name that is similar. But the interactions between Black and Red Canary are probably, are very anticipated. It's like what a lot of people are waiting for to come out this year. And then last but not least, the new multiversal status quo, basically, because Pariah's attempt to rebuild the multiverse and bring back the 52 Earths from the previous DC continuity threatened to destroy all of reality. And, believing that it would relegate the multiverse, not relegate, regulate the multiverse. Pariah basically instead caused instability across the reality, and by the end of the event, a new status quo in the multiverse was created. So, along with the help of Dr. Light, the Flash family was able to connect with the array of worlds to the newly restored Infinite Earths, and helped create a new, stable, infinite multiverse that exists in cohesion, which offers a whole new variety of stories, that they can tell. in the future. So basically, they set up a really nice way to build new stories off of. Did you guys read this?
I read some of it. I didn't read the whole. I didn't finish it.
I haven't read it yet.
No,
Some of
it was
the
actually pretty good.
yeah,
It started
yeah,
in
it was.
it started on Free Comic Book Day. I forget which one of the free comic. I still had the free comic book. I got that started the whole event,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
and then it was good. I mean, it was they
yeah.
was at one point they were I don't know if they wanted to make Black Adam. They had controversy because Black Adam they wanted to make him part of the Justice League, and there was like a controversy
Mhm.
with that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, and some of the those are some of the big changes that came out of this event. But oh, you know what? Bump that. Bump that. This is something cool. The most. So I just found some shit. This is the 10 worst kept secrets in DC Comics. So, okay, I'll show y'all this. Let's see if we agree. And then that goes back there. There we go. All right. So what they say? Number 10. Secret society of supervillains learned about the Justice League's mind wipes. Justice League has pitch black secrets, ones that have changed the way the team does business. The biggest is the League's habit of erasing memories. Not only did the team wipe the minds of villains who discovered their secrets, but also ended up wiping Batman's mind when he found out this was happening. Oh, shit. After Wally West and Kyle Rayner were let in on the secret, everyone found out about it. Despero used his telepathy to restore the memories of the secret society of supervillains when he discovered their lost memories. It seems like once the secret leaked to one person, everyone knew.
Oh, I guess that's their reasoning. Okay.
Everyone in the world knows Superman's weakness.
Yeah,
Really.
I guess. Was that even meant to be a secret? I mean, maybe that just goes to show how bad it is at being kept a secret.
Yeah.
Nah, because you got to remember they like when they talk about it like on the news and everything like that in the comics, that kryptonite is his weakness. Like it's no big secret. It wasn't meant to be. The only thing they did was find as much kryptonite on Earth as they could and either destroyed it or got rid of it. I know that's why they had a controversy where Batman had a piece in his utility belt.
Right.
And they were like, "What you walking around with a piece of kryptonite for, sucker?" And he was like, "Cause I need it. You never know."
I got your number, so watch out.
Right. That's when the whole doomsday thing came out. There's a contingency plan thing came out.
Yep. The old Green Lantern's weakness to yellow was very well known.
Really?
The old Lantern weakness to yellow was very well known.
Okay.
Look at that old ass Sinestro.
It's Sinestro, yeah. It's not
always had the longest face ever.
His weak, and you know the crazy part, that's not even his weakness. His weakness is his will. It's his willpower. Not really that yellow. It's just that the ring has no effect on anything yellow because I forget what it is. Fear is something they say that fear is the enemy of will or something like that. That's why, and vice versa. Like fear, they cancel each other out. Fear and will and strong, they kind of cancel each other out. That's why the yellow and the green they just cancel each other out. His real weakness is his willpower. The stronger his will, the stronger he is, and the weaker his will, the weaker he is.
Yeah, it was even meant to be a secret. I just feel like simple, like knowing that those two cancel each other out.
Yeah, I mean, he said momentarily the fate of the Emerald Hero hangs in the balance. And then Hal's thinking the force of our beams is about equal. But the question now is whose willpower is greater, mine or Sinestro's? And then it says, as the green garbed crusader with a surge of fiery energy supplies the answer to his question. Slam, got him. I knew I could defeat him. Good is always stronger than evil in the long run. The Green Lantern Corps is the universe's premier peacekeeping agency. Its members traveling the universe and facing down the worst imaginable threats. The Green Lantern rings are the most powerful weapons in the universe, but they used to have a very particular weakness to the color yellow. They were unable to affect anything colored yellow, something that all of their enemies knew about and used against them. That's the problem, of course. Every major threat to the Corps knew about the ring's weakness, and it became such a big part of the Green Lantern Corps' legacy that after it was gone, criminals across the universe were defeated when they tried to fall back on it. Oh, so they did get rid of that. But this was everything colored yellow. Basically, the greens had no effect on. That was something I'm glad they changed.
Yeah,
they still do it.
Yeah, but it's not to the same extreme.
Yeah.
No, it's not like it's not like anything colored yellow is just off limits.
That's it's just crazy. It's just that when it's yellow, there's nothing the ring can do. It's just like if they made a hand to grab you and you had on a yellow jumpsuit, it's just not as effective. The ring, it's just affected by the color yellow. It's not, like I said, their weakness is more their willpower than anything, but it's definitely not the color yellow.
Not anymore. Alan Scott's enemies learned his rather mundane weakness. Wait, who's Alan Scott? Oh, that's the guy. So Alan Scott was a different Green Lantern than the Corps members that came after him. He was different. However, much like them, he had a rather silly weakness. His ring's magical energies couldn't affect wood. He couldn't grab objects made of wood, and the force fields he made couldn't block wooden objects. So, force field, but if you hit him with a baseball bat, he couldn't grab objects made of wood, and so much like the members of the Corps, his enemies also found out about his weakness. Scott's weakness is made worse by the fact that anyone with a stick can take out his Green Lantern. His foes used that against him many times, including Blackbriar Thorn, a wizard whose body was made up of wood, and a baseball bat-wielding sportsmaster. It seems like many newer DC villains have forgotten about the old wood weakness, but older foes remember.
I mean, is this really meant to be a secret? Like, he found out when the reader did, so I don't know how he could have really kept that secret.
When they're saying secrets, I think they're meaning within story continuity. Okay. Not like a secret, but just like it's like secret identity kind of thing.
And you got to remember, too, Alan Scott wasn't really a Green Lantern. His ring was powered by magic. Like, it was like green magic. Yeah, it wasn't really like green energy, like light. Like Green Lantern makes light constructs. Yeah. And they're very powerful.
But his was all made of magic.
Yeah, his was magic.
It was all magic based.
Yeah.
He had the lantern with the magic power, and it would power up the ring and shit. It was different. But yeah. The whole world knows the multiverse exists. DC multiverse is very important to its history. For years, the existence of multiple realities was a huge secret, mostly only known by the superpowered community. This shroud of secrecy was destroyed in the battle with the Anti-Monitor, but eventually returned. In time, the multiverse became the New 52 before older versions of the multiverse came back. At this point, it's hard to know what the official history of the DC multiverse is, but one thing is for sure, everyone knows about its existence. After the tribulations of Perpetua and the Batman Who Laughs, the DEO's dealings with Darkseid, and Pariah's destruction of the Justice League, pretty much everyone on Earth knows the multiverse is real.
Oh, I mean, well, that wasn't really in their control with the Anti-Monitor coming into the picture.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have been hard for the heroes to kind of keep that secret after that.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true right there, number 5, and I hate that.
Yeah.
And that just happened recently. That just happened recently because most writers now can't write a story and keep Batman's identity a secret. I don't know what what the big deal with that is now with these new writers, but that's true.
Batman is the perfect vigilante, a highly trained and intelligent hero who can effectively make miracles happen. His secret identity, Bruce Wayne, is perfect. No one would expect the Dark Knight who protects Gotham to be its wealthiest son. It's a secret Batman is guarded, blah, blah, blah. While Batman's identity isn't publicly known, the number of people in Gotham who know is quite large, from his network of sidekicks to certain ex-girlfriends, to some of his enemies, and of course, you got Commissioner Gordon and probably some other cops. Batman's identity is more well known than he'd like to admit.
Yeah, I feel like that stems from the movies because
It's
there is
true.
a lack of a secret identity in both DC and Marvel comic book movies. So
Yeah,
I feel like that's where that stemmed from.
Yeah, probably.
it's just dumb. Like, and if you read Two-Face One Bad Day, at the very end of the comic, and I mean the very end of the comic, he alludes to let Batman's talking to him and while he's in prison. He came and he's telling him, like, Batman, says something witty and he says something back, and Batman goes to leave, and he alludes at the fact that he knows that he's Bruce Wayne. And Batman just like kind of turns and looks and then just walks off. And it's just like, all right, what was the whole purpose of that? Like, same thing with Riddler. Like, Riddler, if you read Batman One Bad Day, Riddler was in there saying how, like, he went into Wayne Manor while they was asleep and was walking around, and they didn't know he was in there, and he was, he could have killed them when they're sleeping. They didn't know he was there, and he figured out he was Batman. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, how is his the only one that has gone unchecked Superman's identity?
And his is the most obvious.
I don't even know if this really belongs on the list.
First of all,
it's the best kept secret on the list.
If you put on glasses, so if you took your glasses off and then you changed your hair, people wouldn't recognize you. They wouldn't.
Honestly, this is the best kept secret as far as Clark on this entire list.
Y'all want to see me disappear?
Oh my God, who's that?
Where'd Reno go?
Whoa, we have a new host.
Who? What?
What
are you talking about?
Are you?
Who are you?
Backwards.
What? It's me. It's just me, guys. I was just kidding. Gary Carpenter, Batman would give Green Hornet a run for his money. How did Bane and Ra's al Ghul know that Bruce Wayne was Batman?
Yeah, that was a little ridiculous.
They both figured it out.
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul, I can't understand.
They both figured it out. Bane wanted to prove that he was a greater detective than Batman, or just as great, and so he meticulously figured out who he was, and then sprung it on him, just to show him that not only am I a greater detective than you because I figured out who you was when nobody else could, but I'm also stronger than you, and I'm going to break you.
But Bane, so speaking of Bane, One Bad Day, that's kind of on our thumbnail, and we're going to review it. We'll talk about it because One Bad Day is a great series that's coming out. Basically, each rogue villain gets its own comic book. And in the my favorite villain, Bane, basically is called One Bad Day. Bane, #1, is less about Bane's origins and more about his character development. His origins are alluded to, but the comic, which we've already had Bane's origin told out in a couple of different comics. So even though it's a fucking dope story, and I love to see every time it's been told, it's cool that they've kind of graduated onto some more stuff and basically focusing on Bane as more of an ally of Batman than an enemy. He actually becomes an anti-hero in a way. They aren't necessarily portrayed as friends, but a form of an uneasy alliance, for a common goal. And we do see Bane portrayed as more of a sympathetic, light Bane. Readers who have overcome drug addiction will definitely empathize with how Bane is depicted in this issue, dealing with withdrawals and just not any longer being on the Venom drug and what he's dealing with now. So it's a character story. Howard Porter's art, very detailed, gorgeous. The panel when Batman is first introduced to the story stands out. He stands like on top of this gargoyle surrounded by bats flying around. It's fucking beautiful. And then, even though this book is more about Bane than it is about Batman, the artist made sure to make Batman's presence felt in the story through outstanding panels, such as that. And then the scene with the explosions are very well done, with both bright colors and bold onomatopoeias busting out, and but just really well done. But basically, this is it really shows Bane's character growth really well. And if you're not a fan of villains having redemption, then this is not your comic. If you just want to see evil Bane doing bad stuff, this is not your comic. If you like inspirational stories of character growth and good writing, then you will definitely appreciate this one. And this issue, it shows different sides to the character of Bane, which is cool. Basically, like I give it an 8.5 out of 10 if there was a rating, but I call it super dope.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
And Bane has his own version of Robin now. He basically, Bane is typically a league above the rest of Batman villains. Them all with physical strength, as far as strength that surpasses the Dark Knight's, and an intelligence that matches Bruce Wayne's. And now he's gone a step further and even gotten his own sidekick like Robin. Basically, you've got the One Bad Day story following Bane as he's sort of aging, giving up crime, helping Batman destroy the drug Venom, because I guess he finds out that there's like a factory making Venom again or something like that, and then so he goes with Batman and they destroy the thing. It's the first time that we've ever seen Bane and Batman work together, and basically, while initially threatening to kill the employee, Bane learns of this boy's history, this employee at the Venom factory, and basically learns of his history and how it's a lot like his own history. And once the drug lab is destroyed, Bane decides to stop living as a hermit in the dark, basically, and move into the light, bring the kid along with him and teach him everything he knows, just like Batman did with the first Robin. And Batman has always had one thing that Bane has wanted, and that's that Bane has almost always been alone in his life. His mother died during childbirth. His father never been there for him, which is one thing Bane has always wanted, is a family like Batman's, like Batman has created. And it seems like Bane is like maybe doing that here, taking this teenager under his wing here. And almost all the Robins were taken in because they reflected some part of Batman's self back onto him, some past or whatever. And Dick Grayson was his trauma. They both lost their parents to crime. And then Jason Todd was his anger at the city of Gotham. Bruce losing his parents, not just to crime, but because of the city itself. And Jason was abandoned by the city, forced to be homeless and take care of himself. Bane's own childhood is likewise reflected in this new teenager that he meets. Bane has just as much childhood trauma as Bruce, if not way more. And he was born in the prison of Peñadoro, so to serve out the sentence meant for his father. Basically, Bane was born in that prison, and because his father died and didn't complete his sentence, the baby had to complete the sentence. Like, that's how fucked up it was. So he basically grew up and lived there, and he just was born. So basically, the same with the teenager that Bane meets, is working off a debt incurred by his own father. His father had some gambling debt, and now the gangsters are coming at the kid for it. So same kind of shared trauma is part of the reason why Bane goes out of his way to protect the kid, and basically, also because he wants a family. But the comic just ends with Bane packing up his things, promising to no longer live in the dark where he was born. Just like Batman, Bane is taking the teenager under his wing, and is going to, just teach him what he knows and school him and raise him, basically, which is how Bane has finally gotten a family, in his very own Robin. So that was cool.
Yeah, I gotta read that joint. I haven't read it yet. I read all the other ones. I read Two-Face, Riddler, Penguin, Freeze. I just haven't read. That's the only one I haven't read yet, and they're all pretty good.
What about
Penguin? It was the best one. That probably was the best one I've read so far.
Penguin
what about What'd you say, Sana?
I said Penguin is interesting.
Yeah, Penguin. In the Penguin one, they talk about how like what it is there's this guy that took over like all of the crime in Gotham, and as we know, Penguin in Gotham, Penguin is the underground. Like he's like all the guns, like everything that runs through Gotham, Penguin's got a hand in it or he knows about it. Like
right,
and he basically loses his empire to this guy that rose through the criminal ranks of the criminal underworld, and he has nothing. Like nothing. Like he has nothing. He's like the guy beat him up and he let him live. Like he humiliated him. And Penguin's like, you know what? I got to take my empire back. So he goes to take it back, and everybody he goes to ask for help, they all ironically keep saying, "I remember when you was on top. You were so on top that you forgot about the people that put you there. Like you literally forgot about us. Like you got up there, and then you started." Ritzy Titsy with the Hossy Ditties in the Iceberg Lounge, and then you forgot about us. Like, you treated us like crap when you were on top, but now that you need us again, you want us to side with you to take this dude out when he don't do that to us. He takes the same money you took, he gets the same cut, but he don't treat us bad. And so Penguin had to reevaluate himself in order to regain power, which he winds up doing by the end of the comic.
Nice.
And he wound up, killing a lot of the guys in Gotham and starting a new hierarchy. But it was one that he appreciated. But the one that appreciated it the most, and Penguin brought it up, was Batman. Like he told Batman, like, I'm the unfortunate formality that you have to live with, because crime was bad when I was in charge, but it wasn't as bad as it was when that dude was in charge. When that guy was in charge, it was so bad. You had people dying every day. Nobody died every day when I was in charge. We might have had a killing here and there. Right. So he told Batman, like, you might not like me. You might not like what I do, but you got to understand something. Also the thin line. Like I help you keep Gotham in order, whether you want to believe it or not. I just do it in a different way.
Yeah.
And so Batman was, Batman had, told him, like, when you take your empire back, I'm coming for you. But when he came for him, Penguin broke it down to him. It was like, come for me. Somebody else take my spot. It's going to be worse for you. It's going to be more work for you. More work than you can
handle. Why Penguin's so interesting. He always like dances that line. And I like villains who do that. So I've always found him intriguing.
Right. And that's what he told Batman. He said, Batman, and Penguin winds up killing the dude in a most gruesome way.
Oh.
And he just told Batman, like, and Batman didn't arrest him. Batman didn't take him in. Batman didn't do anything. He just stepped off. Like and Penguin went back in to party with the high society of Gotham. But when they showed the picture this time, it's a lot of all his crime bosses. Right, they're all there. His crew's there, and a lot of the big heads of the crime underworld is there, partying with him.
Right.
And it was good, man. It was really, really good.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Gary Carpenter.
Catwoman, yes.
Catwoman and so Catwoman preview. So One Bad Day Catwoman. You got Selena Kyle, is the greatest thief that Gotham has ever seen, and she's effortlessly stolen countless items of immense value over the years and successfully evaded the GCPD and Batman. But when Catwoman finds out an item from her past is being sold for way more than it used to be worth, it sends her into a spiral, and she'll do everything in her power to steal it back. And Batman tries to stop her before she goes too far, and a mysterious figure known as the Forger will change Catwoman's life forever. So we'll find out when this. Yeah, so that'll come out on the 24th. So yeah, January 24th, you can get your Catwoman fix there, Gary. But other than that, y'all, Stu, I know you said you had to dip out at 8, but it's like 8:30.
It's almost 8:30. I usually got dip, but
we got
in this area we got it's a playoff game. It's a battle. It's a war in this area tonight. Eagles and Giants. Eagles and Giants. So we're not gonna have much of an audience between 8 and 8:30.
But I will say, before we go, I just got to tell you guys. So Wednesday, well, as you know, we're always live Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Wednesday, we have a special guest coming on, the indie comic creators known as Crazy Visions. So if you're a Wu-Tang fan, you already know what Crazy Visions is. Son, I had crazy visions, right? So you know that's it. And so they've got this new comic, this indie comic, and the Mad Rapper and the Rusto Rebel issue 2 is about to drop. That was another one of their comics, the Mad Rapper, the Mad Trapper, but it's dope. I didn't really know that they were talking about hip hop shit, but this is like one of the pages. So the art in this is really dope, and they're talking about, you've got the villain up here at the top. He's like, give me the gold microphone or the golden mic, or something about, I'll give you the golden mic and you'll have all the, riches and exotic bitches that you want if you just help us. And the heroes are like, nah, but it's dope, man. So we'll definitely chop that up and meet them guys this Wednesday.
Nice.
Other than that, and then on the 30th, we got Beto Art, my man, coming through. What's up, son?
Oh no, I'll do it after you're done.
Okay. And Beto Art, this guy that does the hip hop comic covers, coming on the 30th. But that's it. What's up, Sada?
Oh, okay. Well, it kind of has to do with DC because it's WB, but not really. Velma was rated the worst. It's been rated like one of the worst animated shows of all time. It was rated a 1.3 out of like 10 or 5, whatever their rating is on IMDb. So just wanted to leave everyone with that beautiful rating.
Yeah, because that show, oh my God, bro, that show. My son was like, Dad, we gotta watch it. I'm like, no. And he's like, no, trust me. He's like, we gotta watch it. It's crazy, it's funny, it's fucked up. And so it's bad, bro. It's like the worst, it's the most sickeningly SJW woke trash bullshit you've ever seen. But it's not even like it's like they're making fun of it and doing it at the same time.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird.
It is. It's like they race swapped all the characters except for Fred, and they made him just this evil guy. He's the only white guy, and he's just a complete douchebag, straight up asshole. And they turned Shaggy. Shaggy's now a black guy, but he's straight edge. He's totally against drugs and weed. Doesn't smoke. He
looks to the camera and says that. I about fell out. I was like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, because I hate drugs. Like shit. It's like, oh wow, dude, this is real cringe, bro. It's really bad. And it's like Scooby-Doo is one of the most like redone things. There's like countless remakes, and it's just really easy to get right.
Yeah, I don't know how you botched that up that bad. I really don't. Yeah. I really don't.
Scooby-Doo's not in it for one thing. The whole cast is there, but the dogs. That's another weird thing. So it's just, yeah.
Yeah. Why Velma? Like.
Yeah.
Why Velma? Like, why would you?
I don't know. Like she's interesting, but it's just like if you're going to take the character and then not do the character, and then everyone else is also not in their initial personalities, then like this isn't even Scooby-Doo. Just call it something else.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Like it could have been good because, like you said, Velma could be an interesting character, and they could have made a cool show. And you could have made a show called Velma and make her the main focus, and have the gang there, but just make them the regular gang, and then just have Velma do what she does. But they just totally
And you had like a great opportunity with like a not necessarily raunchy, but like a more mature Scooby Doo, which is something we have not seen a lot of. So there is a market for that. The closest we got was Mystery Incorporated, and that was on Cartoon Network. So it was just but yeah, just wanted to leave you guys with that rating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you're right. And then another thing I've totally forgot. Like we're totally slipping because we almost just ended the show and I didn't show you this dope ass trailer for this new Batman movie that's out here. It's called it's called The Doom That Came to Gotham. Basically, unless he's tangling with aliens or interdimensional imps that wear a costume just like his, Batman works with almost any type of villain. Usually the Dark Knight functions best against foes that are human and psychotic, but that doesn't mean that he can't battle superpowered villains too. And although his rogues gallery isn't replete with meta-human antagonists, but he has defeated more than his fair share of like clay monsters and sexy fluoromancers and literal burning skeletons. An immortal eco-terrorist, the character has tremendous range. But even though it's rare, Batman has another class of villain that he pairs well against. And DC's animated film division is finally going to give it to us and let us see that. But Batman versus almost any horror character works every single time. Batman versus Jason, Batman versus Freddy, it whatever. But this right here, let me run this trailer for y'all. It's dope. This shit's crazy. Batman, Doom of Batman.
Doom. The great doom is coming. The sins of the Father are heaped upon the Son.
You have no clue the power this book possesses.
I know those who seek it mean to do the city harm. Before it can be truly saved, Gotham must be burned to the ground.
Talking dead folks, reptile plagues, it's not natural.
It's a cult that has long ties to Gotham.
Spirit, we come to us.
I can't pretend to know exactly what I'm about to face, but I do know I must stop it.
We mean to give this city purpose and honor the damnation for it.
Mercy.
What did this?
Master Bruce, what's happening to you? What needs to happen? Bruce Wayne must die. And through death, become the city's savior. Hello, Bruce. It can't be.
That looks dope. That looks dope. But that's our show, y'all. We will see you guys Monday at 6:30 p.m. right here, y'all. And don't forget to mark your calendars for Wednesday for Crazy Visions. We're going to have them on and chop it up with them. Great show, as always. My man, Slade Wilson. Got to go see you guys Monday. The game is on. The playoffs. Y'all already know. Peace out, everybody.